We're on an amazing adventure today.
We are on the hunt for agates, all kinds of agates. Blue, green, red, some white agate thrown in for good measure, and Carnival agate.
We're going to show you what we found just opening the door.
Just looking at the outside, you wouldn't expect it to look so good on the inside.
We are at Mcdermit caldera, which is just in the southern edge of Oregon, almost to Nevada.
All of the agates in this video came from 10 sites along the so-called Mcdermit Loop. Now we are showing you the best agates from a pile of agates that we had where we couldn't remember which of these sites they came from. When we overland for 2 weeks, space in the Forerunner is very tight. We can't keep all the rocks in separate containers. That takes just too much space. Ones that we don't take a video of when we're in the field, they're very hard to remember which site they came from if there's something about them that's very different. We found a lot of different ones here.
The Jaspers on the left, on the right there is agate.
This one looked like moss agate. Crazy orange color.
Here's a small one that has a large variety of colors. It was likely from the Carnival agate site. Now we're going to show you the different sites and the rocks we found at each. Off the main loop road, before this cattle crossing, this road goes to the orange agate site. It's where you may start to need a four-wheel drive because of the ruts in the road.
Oh, this one? Oh, it is! I think there's another piece right next to it.
Check this out. Just step out of the car and
there it is.
This site was at the highest altitude of all the sites we went to. It was nearly to the caldera's rim. We found out when we got back that you may do better if you dig a little bit, since the good orange is just under the surface.
That's in the raw.
The orange color can abruptly stop, making for a lovely cab. As you can see, the rockhounding at this site is on fairly steep hillsides, so be prepared for that with good boots.
Nice piece of really deep red jasper, though.
Tiny little piece.
Pretty color, that's what got me.
One of the identifying landmarks of the Mcdermit caldera is this pointed mountain and the ridge that's next to it. It's amazing that it's in July and we have snow on the ridge.
We looked and looked, but we weren't finding very much here, unless you count the flowers. So we decided we were going to head out, and we had a good time coming down this hill. You know, the truck bearing down on you like this, it really gives you this an interesting perspective, as if you were a bug.
That's the road that goes to the Saginite right there.
Check out this giant petrified wood log. Who's going to help me dig it out? Some rocks are best enjoyed right where they lay. Obviously, many rockhounds that came before us agreed. While we're on the subject of petrified wood, I'm showing you this piece now, even though we aren't sure if we found it here or somewhere else. We didn't find any saginite at all, so this is all you get.
So we were turning the truck around, and I was looking into the sun. And while I was looking into the sun, I happened to see this rock right here. It's got all kinds of colors. You can see the agate on there. It looks like one big agate. It's looking really good. I think that's a keeper.
That's amazing.
At the site, I was so excited to find this piece. It looked like it was just going to be a whole agate vein right through. But when I cut it, there was nothing inside. It's just a surface agate. So this was a leverite. And I brought home a great big rock for nothing, because I can't even get a little surface out of this. And I even moved the camera, and I was almost touching the camera at the time. I found this nice one. It was mostly buried, but you can see it's got a lot of agate in it. It looks really nice.
Here's a piece of agate that shows why I think they call it Carnival agate. It's got a lot of colors in it. I also picked up these pieces that show the variety of colors here. This will be a beautiful piece when it's polished. You can see the translucence when I hold this to the sun. Here's what some of these look like once they have been washed and cut, but not polished. They're just wet. That was all for today, except for this spectacular sunset.
We're here today having breakfast with our fabulous Tillamook from Oregon yogurt, ready for our morning yogurt explosion.
Now, what she means by that is that Tillamook is pretty much at sea level, and we're at 6,000 feet roughly. And you can see that the top is domed from the air pressure of where it was packed. And we've learned the hard way that when you open it, it goes everywhere. So always open away from you.
The morning yogurt explosion.
Oh, this Marionberry, it's my favorite though.
Now we're at a site that has blue and white agate.
So this is a nice piece we just found alongside the road. It's got druzy in the middle. It's got some banding around the outside edge. Cracked open just beautifully. And, best part, not a lot of fractures. So we'll actually be able to cut it.
In the first 5 minutes after getting out of the truck, we found all of this just right near the truck. It's amazing here. In the next 5 minutes, we found all of this. We won't be taking it all because I think it's going to put us over our weight limit of 25 pounds per day. This is what Elizabeth calls the little bits. These are a few of the agates that we just picked up. Oh, by the way, you can see their size now that she's put the hammer in there for scale. So we're pretty excited by the little bits.
The blue area had fairly consistent material, but some pieces had other colors, like this one.
We're excited to be finding agates like these.
Oh, sorry. I just got buzz bombed. We'd like to do a shout out to Glenn and Patty for turning us on to this great rockhounding site we've just come upon with huge agates.
If you only see the outside, it would look like this. And then this is what was rough, exposed, and then this is after it's been cut. Amazing patterns in that.
These bands reminded us of clouds with silver linings. Some of the bands in the other rocks rapidly changed from one color to another quite strikingly.
Here's another slab off of it. So that's what you would see if you were out there. You can kind of see sort of blue there.
As Elizabeth mentioned in the field, these rocks had few fractures, which is great. But when we cut them, we discovered that they had quite a few voids, which can be good or bad depending on what you're looking for. Some rocks had a very uniform coloring, and of those, I especially liked this one.
cocktail time. And with great thanks to Heritage Distilling.
It's also nice to have ice in the desert.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to sample the brown sugar bourbon, high altitude type. It's almost 6,000 feet here, so this is the perfect thing. And the elk rider.
That's good.
Oh yeah, that'll help with the sore muscles from digging rocks. You're going to put some 7-Up in
Yeah,
it?
a little bit of it
Just
mixer.
And this is hint to raspberry flavored water. And you know, need lots of hydration, so that's why I'm adding water. Otherwise, I wouldn't add any.
Yum.
Wow, I could drink that all day.
It's a little too good.
It's a little hot out here, but we're gonna take a break in the heat and go back out.
Other than the water crossing, the main loop is a good road. Spur roads, though, often had ditches that might stop a car. We didn't have a name for this spot. It was just one of the many spur roads off the main loop. I found a lot of petrified wood. It's just made out of rock, but it certainly looks like wood due to the color. It's not opalized or agatized.
That's pretty common stuff that you'll find when people say you'll find petrified wood out here at Mcdermit. Okay, this is another piece of petrified wood. It doesn't look like petrified wood from this side, but from this side you can see grain and different things here. Now this particular piece is agatized in spots. There's a piece of agate right there. There's another one hiding right in there. And then I saw another one, oh, on the end here. You can see that that's agatized. Maybe if it's glowing in the sun correctly.
Yep.
And so it's quite possible that if you were to slice it, you would end up with just a whole slice of agate for this piece of petrified wood. So I'm going to take this one home and we'll cut it probably across this way.
Wow, look at that blue down there at the bottom. Ooh, and red around that outer edge. Very nice.
And then every once in a while you'll find something really cool.
Look at that.
This is agate in the middle and common opal on the top and the bottom. So it forms kind of the opposite of an ice cream sandwich. And,
Yes, we are out in the desert.
Here's a piece of common opal. It polishes easily. You can count on everything getting covered in dust when you're in the desert. After a while, you get so used to it you don't even notice it. Having a brush or air gun handy is helpful. It even gets on everything on the inside of the truck.
do the black wheels look better? Or do the bronze wheels look better?
As you've likely seen on our other videos, we have a very nice galley setup that we built from plywood and drawer slides. There's 3 drawers and a counter pull-out on the left side, and on the right, a fridge freezer pull-out and stove storage that acts as another counter. At the base of the fridge is an on-demand water tap. If you'd like to see more about this setup, please leave a comment. Elizabeth typically preps a lot of the meals at home and then stores them in the fridge so that dinner goes together quickly.
Should be making my dinner.
Every night we were in the caldera, we were treated to an amazing sunset, and tonight was no exception. What was new was the presence of an isolated rain cloud. You don't see those very often.
This is the road up to the Carnival agate site. And where we are right now is 3/10 of a mile from the main road, where there's supposed to be Serena green jasper. Oh, we're seeing some holes. I'm gonna check it out. What you find, Elizabeth?
I can break it up in my hands.
Oh, that's not jasper.
That one in your hand
was when we stopped for Serena Jasper, and that's what we found.
We're here at the Carnival site, and we're finding lots of little ones and a few big ones. The problem with this stuff is it's got a lot of opalite mixed in. So the opalite is like this white stuff, or common opal is probably the right term for it. It just kind of breaks away. And so what you don't know is the whole thing together, or is it going to come apart? You can see how it just kind of crumbles, and there you go. It just breaks. When you look on the ground, they're just everywhere. Look how crazy this is. I swear I did not move any of these agates. This is just the way I found them. See them all? And you've never seen a riverbed that looks like this. There, and there, and there, there, and there. There's agate everywhere, is what they say. But what we found is there's lots of agate in a few places where the agates seem to be everywhere, but there's miles in between these few places. So it's best to know where X marks the spot is. This was found at the Carnival agate site. It's a little petrified wood, but wow, is it pretty inside. I cut both ends of this one because I liked it so much.
These make amazing cabochons.
Flat side. And here's a pretty piece of Carnival.
This one was one of my all-time favorites.
Another piece of Carnival agate.
In this piece of Carnival agate, the left tip area shows some wonderful plume agate.
This one's been slabbed off the end of the other one.
So this one is Jasper, and it's got green and red and pink and white and a little bit of a cream color to it. It's a real mix of colors. It's very cool. And that backside is more, but you can really see the different colors there. It almost looks banded with the red and the cream and the green.
Now we're headed to the black site. No, it's not the super secret one. This site had the largest agates, nearly every rock you see here. Most of the big ones weren't uniform though, and would require a lot of effort to get the good parts. We called it the black site because there was a lot of dark gray to black agate seen here.
And here's one we had to leave behind because it was just too big.
Here's what the black agate looks like in the rough. It might have a cap on it like that. Get quite a bit of patterning. Okay, so that's the black agate. It's a beautiful piece of black. It's got a little bit of purple stripe through it here. It's very cool. Elizabeth told me that because I'm colorblind. Here's a couple mirror image slabs. It's a little easier to see the blue in it. Great cabs too. There's a little piece of it. You weren't expecting bugs, were you? Now we're looking for a spot that has nodules. All we have to go on is an ancient hand-drawn map with an X marking the spot. Figures. It must have treasure somewhere. We found a spur road and decided to try our luck. And wouldn't you know it, I found this module right on top and tells me we might be in the right spot. Here's the first nodule that I found. It was just lying on the ground. I just picked it up. And then when I cut it open, that's what it looked like inside. Very unusual one. There's a beautiful one. Yep, they're out there. Just have to look for the signs. And what you see, a lot of them are just lying on the ground. You just pick them up. I ended up digging for some of these. I think I dug for this one. It was about 6 inches deep at the most. I didn't dig anything past 6 inches. Here's a dozen rocks showing the incredible variety of nodules found at this site. As you may know, I like to name rocks just for fun. Let me know in the comments what you'd call your favorite. Nodules weren't the only thing found here. We also found layered rocks that look sort of like petrified wood, but we weren't really sure.
I just couldn't resist. It looks like somebody spattered paint all over the front end of the truck from all the mud we've been through.
Don't miss the global backstory of why all these agates and jaspers are disappearing. We are going to tell you all about it in this next video.